Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗀, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to Inspired Conversations with Emma Romano and the most amazing and delicious
𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗋. I love... Do you know what actually went through my head? No. It's when you said delicious, I was like, how do you know? Have you anyway? like I was going like gusted anyway, but
guys, today we are talking. We're talking today about some of our favorite subjects, and some people coil up and want to run away from it. So here we go. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking money. Money. Okay, talking about money.
Yes,
money is a hot topic 24/7, right? And everybody has such different emotions, beliefs, ideas around money. So Kel and I thought we would come together today and give you some gold around it.
Yep.
Go for it, Kel. Over to you, babe.
Great. So the thing that, like, poor money gets a bad rep, and where money seems to be one of those things that our society is very driven by it. Who has it? Who doesn't have it? How can I get more of it? Because it seems to be the one thing that can, let's say, change worlds, or we have put it in such a pedestal position that we make it the thing that when we have more of it, our life is going to be magically better in some way, shape, or form. And one of the greatest lessons I have learned about money, and this is coming from a family that struggled with money a lot. And in my household, money was probably the main point of contention around all family fights about who was spending it, what was it being spent on, whether that was the best use of it, and then how that then impacts the rest of the family. So for me, what I learned about money, I was literally like a walking contradiction of all different beliefs around money. But the biggest lesson that I've learned from money and taken away from my own experience with it is money simply amplifies who you are, for good, better, worse, or otherwise. And you will never have more money in your bank account than you are capable of handling, because it is an amplification tool. If you are an asshole, by default, it will amplify more of you being an asshole. If you are a really good, kind, generous person, it will literally amplify that. And we want to look a little bit today about why that happens, why that gets amplified, and how we can start sort of unpacking that particular web of all these different beliefs and experiences and memories and programs we have around money, so that you can stand in your creative power and step into your birthright of abundance. Because good people, when they have money, they create phenomenal things. They create in alignment with the earth, they create in alignment with themselves and in alignment with others, where everybody benefits. And I personally believe that the more good people that have money to create abundantly, they're the ones that are going to change the world. They're the ones that are going to shift into, like, help the collective shift into these 5D realities that we talk about, where the world is a much better place for everyone. So we want to help you get more money in your bank account so you can do more cool stuff with it, not just for yourself and for your family, but for the world at greater large.
100%. And there's one thing that a lot of people miss out on the manifestation of money, and that is you have to educate yourself in money.
Yep.
You have to find out, how can it work for me? How can I make it in my sleep? How can I get great interest rates, or how can I invest? What are my thoughts, emotions, and beliefs around it? Yeah. So if you imagine money to me, everything changed for me around money when I figured out, when I was told money is just an energy. So this is a really, actually, I'm gonna share.
Do we get a story? I would love a story.
A money story?
Yes.
All right. So my background was, we had everything and nothing, everything and nothing, everything and nothing. So we would be drinking Dom Perignon, or we would be eating baked beans the next day. So we had a lot of money, and then we all went bankrupt. We had a lot of money and then went bankrupt. It was just a constant loop. So money was always the biggest argument in our house. Big spendthrifts, like my family, big spendthrifts. My mum, my grandmother, my uncle, everything.
Pause for a sec. Go.
Sorry guys, we just had to interrupt that little conversation only because my chair keeps wobbling and it's annoying. So I fixed it. So my money story is, we had a lot, but we lost everything. We'd lose cars, we'd lose houses, everything. So I was never educated on money. All I knew was, sometimes my mum would say, hey, we can pay the rent today, or should we go and get a new video or a new stereo system? And instead of paying the rent, we get a stereo system. So I was very flippant with money, very scared of money. I also had, at the age of 12, I had something really major happen to me in my life. So my mum and I finally moved out of my grandparents' home. So I'm an only child, and my mum's a sole parent, had been since I was 10 months old, and she's amazing. And we went into this house, and my mum then had to work 2 jobs. So I was a very lonely 12-year-old. So my mum would work secretarial work in the city, and then we owned collectively as a family a sports centre in Baldwin. And excuse me, my mum would work nights, so she'd get home about 11:30 at night. And I'd say to her, Mummy, I just want you home. I want you home with me. She's my best friend. I love my mum. And she'd go, darling, we need the money. No, just stay home with me. I don't want the money. And she'd go, darling, we need the money. I have to work these hours. So I ended up going, fuck money. I hate money. Because in my brain, money took away the love of my life, which was my mum. Cool. So I had this belief system that if I have it, I lose. So fast forward, my first 2 years of doing this business, I made $19,000 those first 2 years. And then I made $128,000.
Wow.
Like, what the even fuck? Like, I couldn't believe it. That $128,000, all I've got to show for it is a $7,000 secondhand caravan. That money was spent before it even hit my bank account. And I didn't understand why. Well, the real reason was this. I had a belief system that if I had the money, it means I would lose the love of my life. Who now is the love of my life? My husband and my boys. So if I have this money, I have to get rid of it. It can't land in my hand. I've got to get rid of it, because otherwise, guess what? I lose my husband and my children. So then in comes a year later, 𝗘𝗍𝗃, right? Like a little freaking fairy goddess angel woman comes into my life, most amazing woman. And I said to her, look, I can make money like a fucking manifestation queen, but I can't keep it. I cannot land in my bank account for longer than a day. It's out. So, and I'm driving and I'm over it. I'm sick of it. And I'm crying my eyes out. I'm driving over the Westgate Bridge, right? Bawling my eyes out. It's raining. And she's on the loudspeaker on my phone. on the Bluetooth, and I'm like, Shani, you know, I'm getting all this money in and I still can't do this, and I'm just spending, I don't even know what I'm spending it on. She's gone, breathe. She said, imagine money, Mr. Money, just imagine money is your son Jack. I went, oh, that's weird. She said, just imagine, just pretend money is a person and money is Jack. Now, the way you treat money, Jack, do you think Jack would really be happy with you? And I went, oh my God. I go, no, like I'm a nag. Like I'm always nagging him. Like, I'm always nagging money. Like nothing's enough. And then I just go and throw him away. She goes, oh, so kind of like he's coming to a party. You're like, hey, meet my kid Jack. He's a fucking legend. Jack, leave. I'm like, yeah, it's exactly what I'm doing. So she took me through this aspecting thing with Mr. Money, who I then pretended was Jack. She goes, now, how does Jack feel? Like, does he feel loved by you? And I'm like, no, he would feel completely used by me. She goes, do you ever say thank you? I go, no, I just kind of go, oh, okay, thanks, but where's some more? Now I want more. Now I want more. And I had to really look at the energy and the conversations I was having with money. It was so freaking strong for me. And that's when I started having a conversation with Mr. Money, you know, pretending it's Jack. And I've gone to Jack, well, Mr. Money, like, Jack, what do you need from me? He goes, can you just open a fucking book and realize how to use me properly? And I said, what book? And then bang, like the Barefoot Investor came up into my head.
That is a great book.
Yeah, yes. And I started educating myself on money. Instead of just having one account, then I started opening up all these other accounts and putting bits and pieces in all these accounts. And next thing, within just a couple of months, I had hundreds of dollars saved up. Then it was thousands of dollars. Now I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in there working for me, buying investment properties. And I mean, I never thought I was an investment property kind of girl. I didn't even know what that was. But if you realize that money is just an energy and you put a face to that energy, it changes everything.
Does, doesn't it? It's such powerful work. Like when I remember, this was a really big one for me too along the money journey, was to actually really start becoming aware of how, if money was a person, how am I treating it? And yeah. I was not treating money like I would a friend. I was like you, naggy, never enough. When are you coming back in my bank account? I don't want to let you out. Like I was good from the perspective that like I managed my accounts well. I always knew like things were always paid on time. I always knew when things were coming out. And I'm lucky that I've always had like a really good memory for numbers. Like I could go back and tell you almost exactly how much I spent, where I spent it. Like it was just, I don't know, my brain's just kind of always worked like that. However, what I would do, one of my self-sabotages around money was that when I would get money into my bank account, if something happened and this worked two ways. So one of the things that I used to do was rebel against myself and rebel against my own dreams. So if I had been working and I'd been putting money aside and saving money and I had some cash sitting there, if I would do one of two things, I'd either be like, right, now I get to reward myself and I can go party and blow $500, $1,000 that night on it. And then, and just like, and I do totally believe in rewarding yourself. Reward yourself well though. So
yes.
And then I would blow this money, and it wouldn't be like, I might give myself, I don't know, a couple of $100 budget, but then as soon as I'd be drunk, then I'd want to go buy cocaine, and then I'd go gambling. And before you know it, like you're a couple of $100 budget, you spend $1,000.
100%.
And this is when I wasn't making that much. So that was a big deal to kind of go and behave like that. And then the other way that I used to do it is that if something upset me, then I'd be like, right, well, I'm going to go out and party and forget about it. And the only person that I'm rebelling against is myself and punishing myself, because I'm the one that's got to deal with the hangover. I'm the one that's got to deal with all the money that I just spent that I didn't really want to spend, and get caught in these loops around it. And then when I started realizing, I was like, if money was a person and money knew that I was using them like that, they would not want to hang out with me.
I was such a narcissistic bitch with money. Like, full-blown ego, entitled little brat.
Yeah, and I need to have it now. I need it now.
I want it now. Like, I know.
And just like you, I would live well beyond my means. I would, if I knew money was coming, I would have that spent even before it came in. It would be allocated and done and out the door, and I wouldn't even get to see it. Now money comes and things are structured and planned and organized and got staff and all of those sorts of things, but that didn't happen until I sorted out all of that shit. So and this is where, and this relationship with money, like whether you need to get to associate money to a person or to associate, like to, you know, pretend it's your animal, or get like a rock or something, so that you can actually talk to money and start, instead of seeing it as this thing where you plug into all of the collective projections about it and you don't even realize the self-talk you've got going on around the frequency, because money in its core frequency is abundance, fun, and joy, and it wants to hang out with people that are in an abundant frequency, fun, and joy. And when I say abundant frequency, that doesn't mean you have to have money. That means you have to be connected with abundance around you, abundance of oxygen, abundance of nature, the quality of life that we live in being more than like radically different to what it was for the worst of our standards, a better living conditions than kings and queens of 200 years ago. We've got warm water, we've got electricity, there's just so much.
We've got Wi-Fi.
We've got Wi-Fi. We've got cars, we've got planes, like regardless of whether you actually have access to some of these things, it's all available. And when we're in this abundant state and we're connected to the abundance around us, like even this is another exercise that I like to play a lot when I was starting to really align to the frequency of money and start to really associate to money as a person, was if I was struggling financially, I would look around my room and look at every physical thing in my room, including the room itself, to have me realize that all of these things were once money. I exchanged money to have these tangible things. And so even though there might be nothing in my bank account, all I'd have to do is sit back and look around my room. For example, here, like I've got a computer, I've got a desk, office chair, there's chairs, cupboards, all of these things were once money.
There was money in your bank account.
Just because it's changed energy form doesn't mean that it's not still abundant, or the frequency of money is not around me. And when I started expanding my field into the frequency of money, that everything, every like man-made thing was typically once money, then I would see abundance and money everywhere. So it was so much easier for me to align with the frequency of it, then add in the relationship of like having money like a friend, treating money like a friend, not being like knowing that your friend's coming over and you're already planning about how you're going to get them kicked out the door. Like,
exactly.
Who wants to come hang over? That's like having them come over and be like, oh, bye, I'm going out. I'm like, what did you come over for in the first place? Like, did you really want to see me?
I know, right? So with money, anyone listening, if you don't have it, this is what I love talking about. When we're born, we're given this big, huge, giant bucket to fill up with whatever we want, right? It could be money, love, beauty, experiences, things, emotion, whatever it is, right? This bucket is infinite, but just pretend it's a bucket you can put in your arms. Like, so put your arms out and in a circle and pretend there's your bucket in there. And the reason why it's not full of money is literally because there's holes in the bucket. Delilah, there's a fucking hole in the bucket. Right? There's a hole in the bucket. And then what the best thing is to go, what is the hole? Is it belief systems? Is it not educating yourself enough? Is it not trying different things? Is it not trusting yourself? Is it not asking for the raise? Is it not working the money that you've got already now working for you? Because it doesn't matter if you're earning $400 a week and you can't handle that $400 a week, you will not be given $4,000 a week.
You're going to have the amplified same problem.
Exactly, because if you're on $400 a week and you're buying shit food and you're buying some wine and some cigarettes and, you might be buying some Maccas, universal God, whatever you want to say, is looking down going, shit, if you're eating that and if you're doing that with $400, you're going to fucking kill yourself on 4,000.
Because your behaviors get amplified. I noticed
That's
this
right.
when I didn't have much, my bad self-sabotaging behaviors were kind of limited to what I had. And then when I started making significantly more, that was like letting a beast off the leash. It was like giving a child a whole bunch of money. I had a great time, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
not the
exactly. And it's funny, it's when I really started educating, I only started educating myself in money properly in 2019. And that's when I started getting my accounts ready. I started looking at investment properties. 2020, I bought my first one. 2020, last year, I bought a second one. This year, I'm buying a third one. And that is when universes went, yeah, she knows what she's doing now. We're going to give her more of that because she's safe with it. I'm not drinking a bottle of wine or 2 bottles of wine a night again. I'm not binge smoking a pack of cigarettes or taking a sneaky snort of something. I'm actually putting it in for the better good, not just for myself, but when I've got money, I create really fucking kick-ass stuff for people to learn by. Like what you and I do here, Kel.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the money, we wouldn't be able to afford to be able to do. We wouldn't have a podcast. So, we do this podcast. Alan sets it up and we record it. He does it all. That costs us money. So and people can say, oh, that's just dead money because you're not getting anything back from it. We are. Everyone who listens to these podcasts, we're lifting them, we're elevating them. That is fucking phenomenal work. And they don't have to pay a cent for it. That's even better. That's abundance. That's creation. So when you earn money, you can do more. You can create more. You can have more fun, more experiences, help more people out who are in need.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the hole in the bucket, Delilah.
Yeah. I remember like the hole in the bucket moments. Gosh, I had so many holes in my bucket.
Yeah.
I still remember the first ever money event that I ever went to. It was 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗽𝗃's Millionaire Mind. And yeah, have you done it or have you heard of it? Yeah. So anyway,
I've heard of it.
Here I am on the first day. This is like back in my stripping days. We're probably going back 12 years now. This is like right at the beginning. I hadn't even met. Yeah, I reckon about 12 years. So here's me. I'm like, I want to strip, make a lot of money, buy property. And I need to know how to manage this money. And I've heard about this. It was actually somebody at the club. One of the girls at the club told me about this guy, 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀𝗽𝗃, who did this Millionaire Mind thing, and he doesn't do it for money. He does it for free. Now that I understand marketing, I get exactly what it was. He doesn't do anything for free.
Yeah.
It's just a very clever marketing event to dip your toe in, where we're going to clear all of your money box and then offer you a much larger program. Anyway, jokes aside. So here I am. I'm coming into this event. I've worked the night before and I may or may not have been a little bit hungover. And what happened next may or may not have been to do with the hangover, or could have been to do with my money shit, or maybe a little bit of both. But here I am. I've worked till, I don't know, maybe 3 a.m. and this is at 10 a.m. the next day. And I'm feeling a bit funny, like a bit nauseous. And I'm walking up, there's probably 1,000 people in this room. And I'm walking up to go into the room and I'm getting more and more nauseous. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel well. My head's spinning. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I said to my sister and her partner, it was like a group of us going together. And I said to my sister and her partner, another friend that was there, I was like, look, I've got to go home. I feel like I'm going to vomit. I'm going to have a nap. I'll come in at like 1 o'clock and do the rest of the day, because this is back in the days where it was really cool to run an event from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and to put you in big trance states and like do that ridiculous kind of like personal development marathon kind of style learning. Anyway, I realized.
Yeah, I remember them well. Yeah.
Oh my God, right? And then if you don't show up, there's all sorts of coding, right? Anyway, but I was like, look, I'm going to come in at 1, stay till 10. And then even then at 1 when I came in, and this time the hangover was gone, but I was still feeling really nauseous and sick. And I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, we spent 3 days diving deep into all these different money beliefs and stuff. But I was literally like this walking jumble of like double binds around money and trauma around money. And here I am thinking that I'm going to like learn these strategies to be able to invest and get heaps of wealth. But I was like such a mess. And when we look at how we're coded with money, we always have to go back to our parents, bless them. And I say that with love and jest, but we are literally the best and the worst of our mum's programming around money, and the best and the worst of our dad's programming around money. And I literally had, mum and dad could not have been more polar opposites in terms of their behavior around money, in terms of their beliefs around money, in terms of how they did money, how they managed money. Like mum was always she had great money habits. She was always structured. She knew that if we didn't have a Christmas club that she didn't put $20 a week into every week, that come Christmas time, there would be no money for presents. So she would do these great little things like this. She was always a hard worker. She often had 2 jobs, and she was really structured and organized and did well with money. Then there's my dad, on the other hand, who is this like incredible salesperson. We always joke that he could sell ice to Eskimos with a mouthful of sand underwater kind of thing. Like, yeah. I know where I get my charm and my smoothness and my influence from like his ability to do that. And in the small country town that we lived in, he was actually, I found this out much later, years later, but his income was more than the town's doctor kind of thing. Like he was, he was that good at sales. Like we did live in a small country town, and I'm talking like, it was probably around, I don't know, bit over 100K, maybe 120K, but like comparatively, he was making more than the town's doctors. I just didn't realize. But because of how he was coded around money, it comes in, it goes out, like, yeah, we'll just spend it. And he had this over generosity of being able to give more money, not away, but to help others with it. Like he would spend money to help other people at the expense of his own family. And so there was these 2 totally opposite codings, and dad was about fun and about experience. So I was like this polarizing opposites between the 2, plus my own stuff and my own rebelling around, you know, when money would come in. And then because I felt so deprived in my childhood, I would just go like, yeah, I want to spend it on all the things that I didn't have. So when I went into this, there was so much that came out of it. And I was like, oh my God, like I had no idea I was this big kind of like messed up Rubik's Cube. I kind of see like a ball of twine, like all tied up and like this. Anyway, so that was kind of like the first part for me. And then this is probably going back to 2017 or 17 when I did this exercise. And the exercise was, and I'd like to invite all of our listeners to do this because it's really fun and it's so insightful, is to go and interview your mum about money and ask her beliefs around money, her experiences around money, like certain big events that happened within the family, like what happened, what were your beliefs, that kind of stuff. Like I know for us, there was one point dad had an accident and he got a payout. I think it was of like $107,000 because he lost one of his fingers in a workplace accident. And ooh. Yeah, so there was like this, they went through, like when I was born, we went through this phase where like we were literally living off mum's income, but so poor, and we were getting all sorts of donations and stuff. And then when I was 7, all of this money came in and literally got spent through dad's values. Yeah. And it was really interesting interviewing mum around that and that experience, and then interviewing dad and him around that experience, because that was an opportunity back at the time where it could have significantly changed the experience for the family. But this exercise where you interview your mum around money and you interview your dad around money, their beliefs around it, their values around it, what their dreams were, it's so insightful, because then you can literally go back through and circle and go, oh, okay, I've taken that on, I've taken that on, I've taken this on, I've taken that on. And you can see the mush of where you've got the best and the worst bits. And that's when you can start doing the deeper work around it. And that's where it gets sexy.
I love that. I love that so much. Oh my God. I'm going to interview my mum.
Yeah.
That'd be really interesting.
It was so fun. And you have to, I'm going to say with the caveat, if you have to take all of your own personal shit and any blame or any of that kind of stuff off the table,
it's just literally an interview.
It's literally an interview. And I actually found it had me create a deeper connection with both mum and dad. And it was a really fun, playful exercise. And I told them, like, I want to interview you and ask, I've got some questions around money and your experience around money to help me be better with money. And I'm just curious, like, what were these things and what was going on? And because again, if you go back and ask them about certain things as an adult, the perspective is going to be really different to how the child interpreted it. And it really, it's quite eye-opening.
I think what's really, really important is this: in any personal growth, in anywhere that you're going in personal growth, whether it's around money, emotions, beliefs, trauma, whatever, the biggest cock block around any of it is when you go into blame. It's when you start but you know, my mother was this and my father was that and this happened and that happened. Like, don't go into the blame. Like, anyone listening to this, it's not your fault of why you've got your belief systems. It's not your parents' fault either. But when you can start looking at it, then you can start being in full responsibility of it and go, yeah, I'm not responsible for them, but I'm responsible for, now that I know that I've got these belief systems, I'm now responsible to change that shit up. Because that's the power of it. That's so powerful in anything that we do. Because as soon as we go into blame, it's like me, if I say, oh, Kelly, I'm blaming you now because I didn't make $1 million in the last week. And so that means now Kelly owns all my power. She's got it. I don't have it. Now it's up to Kelly, and I just want to sit back. That's I think one of the biggest cock blocks with manifestation or anything. We go into this blame thing. Oh, it's not my fault. It's so and so. It's so and so and so and so. Use these, you know, experiences and use these emotions and beliefs as the kick up the ass. You know, you flip it on its head and go, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, I was this and now I'm not. And we can all use these stories to benefit somebody else in our life or out there. Of, you know, it's looking at the shadow of yourself is never fucking nice.
No. Oh,
it's really not.
No,
it takes a certain character. It really takes a certain character.
It's an acquired taste, is what I like to call it. It's an acquired taste.
You know, but you've got to just know when you go into the shadow of things and the pain of things, it's only fleeting. It's very quick.
Yeah.
You know, we're only visiting it for a couple of minutes, if that, and then you go, oh God, that fucking sucks. That hurts. Now I know it's there. Now I can change it.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part of it.
And that's the power of self-responsibility.
Yes.
And this is like, we're doing these interviews and finding out what were their beliefs. And the other one, you just mentioned it, which had me remember, also ask your parents, what were their dominant emotions around money? And then you can start to see if any of their dominant emotions are similar emotions that you have, then you can go, oh, that's actually not mine. I learned to feel like that.
Yes.
Which means you can unlearn it and learn to feel something different. I also remember asking both of my parents what their parents' beliefs were about money to the best of their memory. That was fun too, because you could actually see some of the generational things coming through and be like, oh, I can just take that jacket off. I don't need to wear, I don't. Yeah,
it's not mine to wear anymore. Yeah. It's so good. So money is huge, but you know what? There's some really great books that I can recommend.
Yes.
One is definitely that worked. I can only say what worked for me, and that was The Barefoot Investor. That was brilliant for me.
That worked for me too, from a very practical 3D. Do this, do that, like how to set your money up in accounts. He also talks about using ING because they have no fees ever. They're also really great to travel with if you're using ING accounts. I remember when I was traveling through America, ATM fees would be like $10, and then I'd just see it deposited straight back into my account. So they're awesome. Like, they're really, really great from that perspective. And that book gives you some really awesome practical 3D steps of how to get things functioning in a way that will support it. What about for some of the like deeper emotional vibrational stuff? Do you have any recommendations?
I really like Rich as Fuck from Amanda Frances. I really liked her. She's helped me out a lot. So that's Rich as Fuck, Amanda Frances. Another one I read last year, and it's called Audacity to Be Queen, and I can't remember the name of the author. Audacity to Be Queen. That was great too. Have you got any recommendations, Kel?
Yeah, so when I was really looking at this, I did some of the classics. So Think and Grow Rich is another one I really like. The actual undertone of that is all about vibration and aligning with the vibration of money. They also talk about sexual transmutation in that book. They start to touch on that and how to tap into that energy. Just trying to think, money, what else have I? It's been a little while since I've actually sat in the money space. I've been doing so much in the relationship space and attachment, defense mechanisms, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Me too. I've been doing the trauma stuff lately and the vagus nerve.
Yeah. Let me just open my iBooks and let me see what's in there, because there's some phenomenal stuff that I've read. Barefoot Investor was definitely at the top of my list as well.
Yeah, they were really great. They were really, really great. But we got to educate ourselves, and don't forget, guys, whatever you're earning now or whatever you have now, put something away. Even if you're earning $10, put 10 cents away somewhere. Doesn't have to be $100, doesn't have to be $1,000. Just let the universe know that you're serious about this shit now, and that you're willing to have a look. Because you start downloading books or listening to an audio book on money. Next thing you'll find, you'll be in the energy match of it.
Exactly.
And you'll start getting it.
Yeah.
It'll start coming in.
Yeah. Another one that I found just going through my iBooks, Busting Loose from the Money Game. That was another really good one. And there's also, we talk about him, the supernatural guy, Becoming Supernatural. Who's he?
Don't know.
Oh, you know him. We're going to go see him in America.
God, wait. Yeah, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
There we go. Him. Dr. Joe Dispenza has something on money as well. I can't remember what it is, but he's definitely got something on it that is really awesome. I can't remember, but I do remember reading it. So there's a bunch of things there that you can definitely check out that are really powerful. I've done a lot of...
Get in the frequency of money. Like, really look at it. Like, instead of buying yourself 15 Kmart t-shirts, buy a really great quality, high frequency 2 t-shirts that's going to last you longer than that. Really look at investing your money wisely. Look at how can you make your money work for you. So when you get a downfall, what most people go like, yeah, look, we've got an extra $100. Let's get Uber Eats. Well, let's not. Let's have some fun. Like, play Uno instead as a family and invest that $100 towards a future holiday.
Yeah. And I think where people struggle with that is that muscle between being able to delay gratification in the now for a greater gratification later.
Yes.
Like, we live in a world of instant gratification, and that's definitely another muscle to build around money, is actually looking at how much am I spending on instant gratification in the now, yet not investing in a greater gratification in the future.
I love it. And breathe, everybody. That is our money.
There was a lot in there. Let's just give it a little quick recap. So the first thing, there was 3 really big things in there. So the first thing was around learning to actually understand how money works in these 3D concepts. So in and out of your bank accounts, managing bills, accounts, all that kind of stuff. This is something that I look at really deep with my clients, because I look at people's bank accounts all day long. Like, setting accounts up, direct debits need to come out of their own account. Then you need an account that's just for spending. Barefoot Investor has some really great stuff around that. Then look at your relationship with money. How are you showing up with money? If money was a friend sitting in front of you, what would they have to say about you? How would they feel about being in your presence? And that is a huge key into what needs to shift for you to have a healthy relationship with money. Now, please don't go and overwhelm yourself and beat yourself up for being a bad friend to money. It's okay. Just choose 1 or 2 things to make a change in, because it will make a significant difference. And then also the third one is, if you're up for a little bit of extra assignment, extra credits, go interview your parents about what their beliefs are around money, what their dominant feelings were around money, different things that were going on in your household when you were a kid in terms of what you saw or what you didn't see, and just ask some questions and have some fun with it, because this will give you a huge insight into why your financial abundance isn't where you're wanting it to be, or how you can take your financial abundance to the next level.
I've also just remembered on my website, I've got a whole course there called Magic Moneymaker 101.
Oh, amazing.
I completely forgot about it. I'm like, it is so magical. Going to my website, emmaromano.com.au, go to the coaching tab. It's in there. Magic Moneymaker 101. I think it's like $111, which are magic numbers. And go in there and have lots of fun. There's a whole 27-day program on there. It's really
amazing.
strong. Yeah,
that's right. You ran
that.
You ran that at the beginning of this year or early last year?
I think it was last year.
Wasn't it?
I can't remember. Last year, I think it was. Yeah, and last year or something. Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, beautiful listeners, enjoy. Let us know how you go with this one. There was a few different pieces in there. Let us know, what did you find out about your parents? How is your relationship with money? How did you go with Em's course? We'd love to know.
We love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Please share this with everyone you know. We just want to spread the word that, guess what? Life could be a whole lot fucking better. Sorry.
And
we love you guys. Yes.
Bye.